This copyrighted telecast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield. This is a great night for any Iowa Stater, without a doubt. It's a celebration tonight of 6 very worthy inductees into our Iowa State Athletics Hall of Fame. I can't imagine a better night than this because everybody's happy, everybody's smiling, and we have so much to celebrate. And we get to look back with fondness at our all-time great coaches, athletes, and administrators. And it's going to be great to share these inductees with 61,500 of our closest friends tomorrow. So we very much look forward to that. We'd like to thank and share our appreciation to Dennis and Lynn Quinn, who made a lead gift to endow the Iowa State Athletics Hall of Fame, which will continue to support these special weekends honoring Cyclone legends. So the Iowa State Athletics Hall of Fame was established in 1997, and tonight we celebrate our 25th Hall of Fame class, bringing our total number of Iowa State Athletics Hall of Famers to 199. Tonight we have All-Americans, pioneers, trendsetters, and leaders who led their respective teams to unprecedented success. We also have individuals who not only broke school records but also conference records, many of which still stand. Joining us tonight are several current members of our Hall of Fame. So I'm going to ask that they please stand when I read your name and remain standing, and we'll ask that you hold your applause until the end. Hall of Famers with us here tonight: Andrew Parker, class of 2012. All right, we're scrapping the hold your applause thing. Andrew Parker, class of 2012. There it is. Good to have you here, Andrew. Thank you. Frank Randall, class of 2008. Dan McCarney, class of 2016. Gary Thompson, class of 1997. Jenny Adams Kaichis, class of 2007. Elaine Heber, class of 2008. And Eric Hansen, class of 2004. Thank you to all of our Hall of Famers for being a part of this special night. As we begin our celebration tonight of our 2022 Hall of Fame class, I'd like to invite forward our Director of Athletics, Jamie Pollard, to say a few words to welcome us.
Thank you, John. You know, you have those little cards. I'm going to skip writing mine out. I'm just going to give each of them my own little message right here. So, Reggie, when the night's over, you can pick up your helmet, shoulder pads, and game uniform for tomorrow, because I heard Coach Campbell wants to use you for a couple plays. I tell you what, I mean, I'm not the football coach, but I'd use him for more than a couple plays. Joe, I want to say thank you for being an unbelievable inspiration to all of us. We love that you're here with us tonight. To Alison, thank you for being the brains behind our men's basketball team last year. To Ashley, it was great talking about the days we played dodgeball at my house when you were a student athlete. Brought back good memories of when I didn't ache having to do that. Now I don't think I could do it any longer. To Dean, you represent exactly what this whole banquet is about. The fact that you are back here tonight after all those years to come back from Australia, and that means a lot to all of us, so thank you. And to the members of the family of Bill that I got to be with during my short time of dinner, and I don't think I got to meet the others, but that also is a great example of just what this really means to be part of the Iowa State family, that the extended family can come back and be part of it and be the inductees, so that's really neat. So thank you. This truly is one of my favorite events every year. And what makes it special is I just look around this room and, we do reunions, and the reunions are great, and Lindsay and her staff do an incredible job. But this event brings the cross-section back of different athletes, and athletes coming back and seeing each other's stories of somebody that hadn't been here in as long, to see Joe be just an incredible inspiration to all of us. To me, that's what just embodies the power of being an Iowa State letter winner. And so thank you all, whether you're the inductee or a former inductee, or your family or your friend, a teammate. It's so neat that you're back here. And the turnout tonight is spectacular. It says a lot about this class that we have. But what's really cool about this Letter Winners organization, and what's really cool about tonight for the 6th inductees, is we're one of the few. We may be the only. Okay, we will be the only, okay? Because I can say that. Nobody here is going to be able to challenge me on that. We are the only. But you're getting inducted tonight not because somebody buttered up to the AD or somebody made an administrative decision. You're getting inducted tonight because your fellow student athletes, and I'm not talking about your teammates that knew you, I'm talking about other athletes that decided and voted themselves, because that's how we run this Letter Winners organization. It's run by you, the Letter Winners. And so if you get inducted into the Hall of Fame at Iowa State, it's because your peers thought you should be one of the best and one of the most remembered student athletes ever at Iowa State. And that's a really, really cool honor. The last thing I'll leave you with is I've been asked by several of you, that are back, like a lot's changed. And first of all, I know all of you would love to head that dining hall for breakfast and dinner. Trust me, I love having it for breakfast and dinner. Facilities have changed, but what hasn't changed is the support of this place from all our great fans. And tomorrow, when 61,000 fans recognize you on the field, it'll be a great remembrance that they haven't forgotten about you, and nor have we. Go Cyclones.
It is time now to meet the 2022 Iowa State Athletics Hall of Fame class. But before we introduce our first inductee, Reggie Hayward, we want to show you a quick clip of Reggie's reaction when he was informed of this great honor.
The reason I'm jumping on here is, number one, we're recording this, okay?
Okay.
But number two is, we thought, like, normally if the athletics director reaches out to somebody, everybody panics and goes, well, okay, why is the AD calling? Right. So I get to do a lot of calls, but these are the really fun ones. And so what I'm calling about this morning is, so your fellow Cyclone alums and letter winners have decided that it's time for you to be in the Hall of Fame. And
seriously,
so we're going into the Iowa State Athletics Hall of Fame.
That's amazing.
Congratulations.
I really appreciate that.
Long overdue.
Oh my goodness. I did not know that. This is a complete surprise. I am speechless. This is amazing.
Well, Reggie,
they are going to induct me into the Iowa State Hall of Fame. That's my wife, as you can.
See, that's the exact reason we wanted to record it. See,
that's amazing. Thank you. I'm truly blessed. Just thank you and my teammates. I mean, this is awesome. I'm truly grateful. I mean, I never put much thought into it. I just always, once I got done playing, I've always been a fan. I've always supported, and I'm truly grateful and truly blessed to, going to such a prestigious place. So I'm looking forward to it.
How great is that? Reggie Hayward is one of the best defensive linemen in Iowa State history. The Dalton, Illinois native was a recruiting priority for Dan McCarney, and that evaluation proved to be spot on. Reggie was a 3-year starter, 3-time All Big 12 selection. And in the 2000 season, Reggie played an integral role in that incredible ascension to a school record 9 victories, including that memorable night in Phoenix and the first bowl win in Iowa State football history. That season, Reggie led the Cyclones with 90 tackles. That is hard to do from the defensive end position. But it was so much more than the tackling. Against Colorado, in a game that Eric and I talk about frequently. Old Reg came away with the ball. His words, not mine, after a game-clinching fumble recovery amidst a scrum in the snow to snap a 16-game losing streak to the Buffs. Then a few weeks later, it was that MVP performance in the Insight.com Bowl as the Cyclones made history. Reggie was drafted by the Denver Broncos and enjoyed success there and in Jacksonville. Over a 9-year NFL career, he was a very good NFL player. We ask that you turn your attention to the video board to see the story of Reggie Hayward.
The way I chose Iowa State University is because it's close to Chicago. I'm from Chicago, and that was attractive. Dan McCarney, Bob Karski, they came to my house. They talked to my mother. They talked to my high school football coach, Pat Jennings, and they just sold me on it. When I met Dan and he talked to my mom and he assured her that her baby will be taken care of, I was like, this is a good match for me. This is where I need to be. And they opened the door for me, embraced me, and we made history. So I think it was a good decision. Just coming in and just taking the bumps and bruises that we did. Not only did it light a fire in us, it also, you have to suffer a little bit to appreciate good times. We suffered a lot. My freshman year, we was a punching bag in this conference. And I can say that with comfort because by the end of my story, we were punching people instead of being punched. I think that 1999 team is what made the 2000 team special. We had some really good players, and I firmly believe in my heart, 99, we could have turned the program around. We had some mishaps and we had some opportunities that we left on the field. And then being in my senior year, I did not want that. I did not want to go out like that. This senior class in 2000 was like, we have to. We're believing now. Now, if you don't reach for the sky, if you don't reach for the stars, you got to think big, and that's what we did. We dreamed big, and we played big, and we had success.
Back to throw, and it's a sack for Reggie Hayward back at the 10-yard line as he got determined.
It's one thing to win a bowl game. A lot of schools win bowl games. It's another thing to make history. We had the opportunity to make history, and we stepped up to the plate and we did it. Understanding that we were the first. No one, we had other teams play bowl games, but we were the first to win. As you get older and you understand how difficult it is, you play in the NFL, you understand how difficult it is to win a game. It's hard. And then to be the first ever to do it, it's pretty special. They can never take that away from us. We have a lot of conversation about who's the best team to ever come out of Iowa State. Maybe there were teams that were better than us. Maybe there weren't. It's an argument. It's an honest argument. But we're the first. You can't take that away from us. It'll be in the books forever. And that that's something that I can share with my kids, my grandkids, and it's something special.
Reggie Hayward, I believe it was, that had the sack on Mullen. The ball came loose.
It means a lot because you make some of your best friends in college. And you make some of your best friends when you have to go through something difficult, and you have to struggle, and you have to sweat, and you have to work hard. And when you have a banquet like this, it's an opportunity to say thank you. And I can look those guys in the face and say thank you. We're brothers, we're lifelong friends, and it's supposed to be about me, but I'm so thankful that I got to do it with these guys because it was just bigger than me. I'm being celebrated, but I wouldn't be nothing without my teammates and my coaches. They were the ones that propelled me into where I'm at and where I went. And I'm thankful for that. And this is an opportunity for me to say thank you to them. I am honored that I'm being inducted into the Hall of Fame. But it gives me more joy to look, Dan McCarney and my teammates in the face and say thank you, because I would be nothing without them. This is home. This is where it started. This is where I truly learned how to play football. I will always be a Cyclone. Now, my kids may go off to play sports in other schools, and I'll support them. But as soon as they graduate, I'm putting back on my Iowa State shirt. This is a part of me that I won't give up. And my university means a lot to me, and they love me, and I love them back. So when you talk about Iowa State, and I'm in Florida, and I see Hawkeye plates, and I'm disgusted. It still runs deep. It still runs deep. So this is home. And I'm proud to say that I'm a Cyclone for life.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Iowa State Athletics Hall of Famer Reggie Hayward.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna try to keep this under 5 minutes. I got a lot of people to thank, but first I want to thank God. I would be nothing without him, and he is why I'm here standing in front of you. So, I love it. A lot of great memories there. I'll be remiss not to acknowledge the people that can't be here with us. First, I'd like to acknowledge my mother, who would definitely be very proud of her son. She's in heaven looking down, and we miss her dearly. And, she did things the right way. She raised us hard, and we became great human beings. I'd like to give a shout out to Billy Peterson, a great man. He would, my wife's father, he would be smiling, having a good time, making everyone in this room laugh. And he is missed. Coach Anelli, my D-line coach. What a great man. He would, his eyes would definitely be dry right now. He would have eye drops, if you know what I mean, guys. He would be touching his eyes, but one of the great things about Coach Anelli, besides football, is the way he loved his wife. And we all learn lessons on how to treat a wife and how to love a wife by Coach Anelli. Amazing man. And then last, I'd like to Katie Lynn Nelson. A lot of people don't know who that is, but when we were here in college, we had the opportunity to go to the hospital. Coach McCarney would, have visits to the hospital. We met this beautiful young girl who was taken away from us way too soon. Her mother is somewhere out here. I don't know where she is. I don't know what table she's at. There she is. There's Carol. And she touched our hearts. And thank you for coming to support me. I truly appreciate that. Moving ahead, this journey isn't one of those journeys that I did all by myself. I would be, very selfish if I didn't acknowledge that my father, who is in attendance, Dad, I don't know, is he awake? Wake him up. Dad, Dad, I love you. Thank you. My brother is supposed to be here. I don't know if he got caught up somewhere, but my brother is one of the reasons why I was able to make this journey. He took care of me in high school. He made sure that I had everything I need. My cousin Brian, who's been here since day one. I mean, day one, from, Dalton Bears all the way through the NFL. And that's the type of family members you need, family members that love you regardless. So I am truly blessed and truly thankful that they are here. Next, I want to move on to Coach Dan McCarney. I mean, what a great man. He's had so many kids here. He's raised so many young men into grown men. And the lessons that he has taught us, I don't think he understands. One of Dan's biggest things was be a class act. Learn how to win and have class. These are some of the lessons that I am teaching my children, that I'm teaching my players. Dan, outside of football, is just one of those leaders that you need in your life and that you can appreciate, because he's doing things the right way, and he's taking young men, turning them into men, and beyond football, he is teaching them lessons that they need for life. And thank you, Dan, for that.
Just to backtrack a little bit, I want to talk about Pat Jennings. Pat Jennings, my high school coach. Him and Bob Karski, these two, they double teamed me and got me to Iowa State. They did a great job. Coach Jennings, thank you. I remember, being a young man in high school, and this man, drove me from university to university to visit different schools. But we got here to Iowa State, and that journey is because you believed in me. You helped me get here. This much, all of this is just as much as yours, because no one knew Reggie Hayward. You were the only one that knew Reggie Hayward on the football field. You coached me, and you took care of me, and you guided me here, and I am thankful. To all my teammates here, hey, I love all of y'all. I think of you all the time. We are family. We look at this film and we look at all this stuff, and there's a lot of highlights of me, but I couldn't do this without the other men in this room. Like Chin, you took me under your wing, you taught me how to be a football player, you taught me how to be a Cyclone. That means a lot. You know what I mean? And James, Kip, Jesse, George, Stevie, we all sweat. We all did the workouts. We all put the work in. We broke bones. Sometimes it was ours. Most of the time it was others. But I love all my teammates. And if I'm missing any of you, Bill, I know you're out there. I can't see you. It's easy to find the black people in the room, but I love you all, man. I love you all. You guys are amazing, and thank you so much. To my children, I told y'all Daddy was famous. They didn't want to believe it, but Daddy is famous. And last but not least, I want to say thank you to Kelly Peterson. Thank you so much. Kelly, you raised two beautiful, intelligent, athletic daughters. One of those amazing daughters was gracious enough to take my hand in marriage. You are my biggest friend. You're the hugest supporter that I have in my life. And I love you with all my heart. Thank you for taking care of me now that I'm old. And I wish that I could marry you again. I want to say congratulations to all the other Hall of Fame inductees. It's a wonderful honor. I want to say thank you to Lindsey Long and everybody at Iowa State. You have made this amazing, and I am truly blessed and thankful. That's all.
Congratulations, Reggie. I'll show you old. All right. Our next inductee is Joe Heskett. In Iowa State's rich wrestling history, Joe is one of just 11 Cyclones to earn All-American honors 4 times. 3 times he was an NCAA finalist. And in 2002, he capped his career as the 165-pound NCAA champion. A native of Akron, Ohio, Heskett was smart, tough, and durable. He racked up 143 career victories, 3rd on Iowa State's all-time list, and that included 58 pins, by the way, and if you got stuck in that cradle, you weren't getting out. Joe was a 3-time Big 12 champion, 3-time Midlands champion. He led Iowa State to great team success as well, but his accomplishments carried far beyond Ames, as Joe was a 5-time member of the U.S. national team and a silver medalist in the 2007 Pan American Games. Health issues forced Joe to retire at the peak of his international career, but he went on to success in coaching as the head coach at Army and in administration as an associate athletics director at West Virginia. In 2013, Joe was inducted into the Glenn Brand Wrestling Hall of Fame, and tonight he takes his rightful place in the Iowa State Athletics Hall of Fame. We ask that you turn your attention to the video board for the story of Joe Heskett.
It's great, you know, it's great. It is great to see everybody.
You know, I'll speak on Joe's behalf, but I think, you know, it's an honor for Joe to know that everybody's coming back to support him, and that this reunion that's never happened before is going to happen, you know, in his honor. We have so many great memories from our times here. You know, so many great teammates, coaches, and just teams in general. We had a lot of success then, and this guy was a big reason for that. He was a teammate that was always there for you. You know, cared about guys, was was looking out for everybody. He was a team captain, and he obviously led with how he wrestled on the mat, which was cradling guys up and pinning them. But you know, he was also a great leader as a person, you know, outside of the wrestling room and, you know, in the arena. So I kind of went off track there a little bit.
No, that was good.
What?
That was
Okay.
great.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I remember about Joe is that he always had a smile. You know, he's always smiling. You know, where maybe some of us were nervous and a little anxious before we went out there and wrestled, Joe was smiling, bouncing around, having fun. That's probably why he wrestled so well, because he was so loose, you know. And I think that energy is contagious, you know. And you know, he has a smile that, you know, lights up the room. I remember Joe always beating up on the Iowa guys. In fact, we were talking about that on the way in. You know, just that I was talking to Joe, like, you know, what other schools were recruiting you before you came to Iowa State? And the Hawkeyes came up, and he's like, no, Hawkeyes didn't recruit. I was like, well, you pretty much whomped on all the Hawkeyes every time you wrestled them. So that got him laughing, and that's always a good memory. But I mean, obviously Joe winning his national championship. I mean, Joe did a lot of winning. I mean, I think, you know, Joe expected to win, and not just win, but win everything and win at the highest level. It's just, you know, that friendship is important, you know, and I'm going to get a little emotional here, but I know that Joe would do the same for me, you know, and, you know, and it's not just me, it's all of the guys, you know. Billy Maldonado really stepped up, and we wanted Joe to be here, you know. We know what's happened to Joe, and it is unfortunate, you know, and we're all, you know, pulling for him and doing what we can, but it was like, this is a huge moment for him in his life, and his, you know, his son gets to be here and be a part of it, and we wanted to make sure that he was here. And so, you know, as we were all talking, it was just, you know, we need to make sure Joe gets here no matter what, and whatever it takes. And that's where I was like, I'm kind of the only person that's in a direct line from Ohio to Iowa, and I was like, I'll rent a van, you know, we'll pick up Joe and his family, and I'll drive him out there. And Billy had reached out to Coach Dresser, and then Coach Dresser would connect us with Mike and Lindsay, and then we got a phone call and was like, hey, you know, we hear what you guys want to do, you know, let us help. And, you know, for me, I'm blown away by what Iowa State has done. You know, they have funded this whole trip, you know, whatever it takes, Matt, let's get Joe out there.
Jamie Pollard.
Yeah. You know, it shows you the culture that this athletic department has. You know, it goes beyond, you know, even our wrestling experiences. The Iowa State community is tight. They care about their own, and this is proof of it. I mean, Joe's legacy is he's one of the greatest Iowa State wrestlers of all time. I mean, that's the bottom line. You know, that's a fact. I mean, you look at what he accomplished as a wrestler, he's one of the greatest. And not just one of the greatest Iowa State wrestlers of all time, but one of the greatest collegiate wrestlers of all time. I mean, the stuff that he did on the mat, you don't see often. He's an incredible wrestler, but more than anything, he's an incredible teammate and an incredible friend, you know. And that's his legacy.
That's his legacy.
Kind of brings a whole new meaning to the word teammate. Please welcome Iowa State Athletics Hall of Famer, Joe Heskett.
Thank you.
A lot of emotions. I know Joe would like to thank, you know, a lot of people, and I'm going to start, you know, with his family. His grandmother, Evelyn, who was, you know, the biggest Joe Heskett fan there ever was and ever will be. And she unfortunately couldn't make it here tonight, but she was a huge part of Joe's success and getting him to where he is today. I know Joe would like to thank his kids, Olivia, Ava, and Joey, who made the trip with us here from Ohio. You know, one thing I'll say is I know that Joe is super excited to be here. He, you know, is beyond humbled by the amount of teammates and coaches that have shown up. It's, you know, it is a true testament. I mean, you know, the video says it all. I mean, this Iowa State community is tight. We care about each other, and we show that by showing up. I know Joe wanted to thank Coach Bobby Douglas for, you know, giving him this opportunity to be a Cyclone and be a part of these great teams. I know he wants to thank his, you know, all the coaches, all the people that helped him all the way through, his kids club coaches and his high school coach, Bill Barger, and, you know, just his teammates. And you see the amount of wrestlers that are here, you know, from the late 90s and the early 2000s. It's a true testament to the culture that Coach Bobby Douglas had built and the type of people that were on those teams. And, you know, I want to thank, you know, again, and Joe as well, just Iowa State, Lindsey Long, Mike Green for making this trip possible. And, you know, just knowing how important this was to Joe and to all of us, that he be here and be able to take part in this special honor. So it's just a testament to the culture that Iowa State has created, and it starts from the leadership and trickles down, and it's humbling to be here. So Joe means a lot to me. We were teammates and roommates. We coached together as well after college at Cal Poly, and we're close. And I'm glad I could be here for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I say once a Cyclone, always a Cyclone. Does any story ever tell it better than these two right here? That's just an awesome friendship. Congratulations, Joe. Before we introduce our next inductee, Alison Lacey, we want to show you a clip of Alison's reaction when she was informed of this great honor.
This is the reason I'm calling you is one of the cool things I get to do as athletics director, but it usually scares people if they find out they've got a call with the AD. So I'm calling you to tell you that your peers, and when I say peers, I mean not women's basketball players, but Iowa State student athletes, have voted you in to this year's Hall of Fame class.
So the reason we did this is we're recording this so that we have some material that we could play at the Hall of Fame banquet. So first of all, congratulations.
Oh my God, thank you. Thank you so much. I am, this is very cool. I was not expecting this. I was ready for my homework with my questions and, wow, this is very cool. I'm blown away that they would think of me worthy to go in. I mean, I'm so proud to be a Cyclone, and this university has completely changed my life. And I mean, it's gonna make me get emotional. Like, what an absolute honor to even be in that conversation.
When Alison Lacey came to the United States from Canberra, Australia, the Iowa State Hall of Fame was probably the furthest thing from her mind. Alison was a foreign exchange student. She played one brilliant season at Ballard of Huxley, leading the Bombers to a 26-1 record in the state championship game. She had a scholarship offer, by the way, from Bill Fenley, and she took it. What a good deal that was. Alison joined fellow Cyclone great Lindsey Metters in a terrific backcourt before taking over as the point guard upon Lindsey's graduation. 3 times she earned all Big 12 honors and becoming the only player in school history to record over 1,500 points, 500 rebounds, and 500 assists. The statistics, the All-American recognition were one thing, but there was just something you could see in Alison's game. She backed down from no one and came up clutch time after time, including that memorable game-winning 3 to beat Michigan State and send Iowa State to the Elite Eight. Team accomplishments defined Alison, including beating Iowa 3 of her 4 years, capped by a triple-double against the Hawks as a senior. After Iowa State, Alison played for the Seattle Storm of the WNBA, and in fact, she was part of the Storm's 2010 WNBA championship team. But Ames was home then and now. Please turn your attention to the video board for the story of Alison Lacey.
It was my only offer. I did not get an offer from any other school. And it was unique that I was living in Ames, and it was the only college I knew of. So it really was Iowa State or nothing. I had just made a huge transition to America, and I had no interest in moving to another town. And so luckily Iowa State offered me. It was my only offer, so I took it. Physically, it was a step up. The pace of the game was very different. And I was challenged mentally and physically to a point I'd never been challenged before. And I remember my first week here at Iowa State in preseason, and I remember thinking, like, what have I done? I think I've maybe made the wrong decision. Maybe it's time to go home, because I just didn't know if I could physically do it. And then you get used to that pace and your body adjusts. But it was a huge adjustment. It took me 3 months. It took me a full summer to get used to, the level of the way we did things here at Iowa State. And so I just went in, worked hard every day, and managed to earn a spot in the starting lineup. And just Coach Finley said the reason I was playing was I didn't turn the ball over, and I worked hard. And so I think my best attribute was I kind of just did the dirty work, did little things, and was kind of ignorant to all the other things that I probably should have known but didn't.
Half-court Lacey fires a shot at the horn. It's good! Wow, what a shot! Alison Lacey hits it at the horn.
It was, best experience of my life, to run out to thousands of people cheering for you, to have those moments with teammates. Hilton really does have magic powers, and it is so fun to experience them alone on the court with your teammates when shots are falling and big plays are being made and games are being won. But even to this day, when people come to visit me, nothing makes me prouder than to show them Hilton and to let them experience a basketball game there. It's nothing like it. I've never found another arena that matches that level of intensity and excitement. And I'm just so proud to be part of it when I was playing, and still now to this day.
Pass in the corner to Boldy, back to Lacey for 3. It's good! Alison Lacey nails a 3, and it's 29-12 Cyclone.
Playing Baylor or someone, when our senior game, I think it was a pink game. Brittany Griner was the freshman, and I think they were ranked very high that time, and we were able to beat them. And I had never beaten Baylor, I don't think, in my career. So I think to win that was fun, and the crowd was huge. I think we had over 10,000 fans that game, and that definitely stands out at home. What stands out the most is it is a very unique situation where you have a group of girls from all different backgrounds and belief systems and upbringings, and you have a whole group of coaches with different points of view as well. And we're all put together for an extreme amount of time. We're living together, we're practicing together, we're studying together. And that is not a very normal situation to be put in, but it helped us navigate how to deal with people that probably were very different than us, and to address conflict with people, and the life lessons that taught me, I still use to this day. It's just a crazy situation to be put in, and it's really, really hard, but so worthwhile when you have victories and the lessons you learn from it. I'm so proud to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm just a girl from Australia. This was never part of, my dream growing up, and it makes me emotional, but it also makes me just grateful to all the people that helped me along this journey. Nothing about my journey to Iowa State was easy, geographically, financially, academically, athletically. It was really, really hard to get here. And there are so many people that helped me. And then obviously Coach Bentley, who had to deal with a very stubborn and strong-headed player and let me be exactly who I am, who pushed me more than anyone who has ever pushed me, and put me in a spot to be successful and made me look a lot better than I probably was. And I've told him this many times, but he completely changed the trajectory of my life with the opportunities he gave me. And so to be in the Hall of Fame, it's just kind of like we did it, And it's not lost to me that I didn't do it by myself. There's so many people that did it with me, and I will forever be grateful for them. All of them, they all changed my life.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Iowa State Hall of Famer, Alison Lacey.
My first reaction is I sound very American in that video. But it's very surreal to see your 4 years of your life condensed down into a very short video. And those 4 years wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for the efforts of so many people. First, I would like to thank the members of the selection committee for the privilege of being inducted here tonight. A special thank you to Mike Green and Lindsay Long for all of your hard work and the never-ending phone calls from TJ and myself. To my family back home in Australia, especially my mum and dad. Thank you for being my first and greatest example of what hard work and persistence looks like. Thank you for allowing me to pursue my goals, even if that meant moving 9,000 miles away. Who would have thought that 17-year-old kid, eyes filled with tears, who boarded a flight from Sydney to Des Moines would be standing here tonight? Jace, Olivia, Stella, TJ, I absolutely love the life that we've created together, and I'm so happy we get to do it here in Ames. Coach Bentley, thank you for taking a chance on a really stubborn, hard-headed, competitive kid. You taught me so many valuable lessons that I continue to practice today. You were the perfect coach for me, and I would not change one thing about my time at Iowa State. Coach Steyer, thank you for your investment you made in me, especially in the recruiting period. The countless hours you spent making sure I made it through the
NCAA clearinghouse is something I'm so appreciative of. I'm so grateful you were my position coach, and I value our friendship today. The entire coaching staff and support staff did so much to ensure my success. Josh Carper, you're such a professional. Thank you for your perfect organizational skills and dealing with me all those years. Coach Shaban, thank you for your time spent with the post and giving me someone to pass to. Whew. Denise, our trainer, thank you for always perfectly taping my ankles. Doc Shulman for keeping me healthy, and Jeff Sessler for ensuring I completed my coursework and graduated. And let me tell you, that was no easy feat. To my teammates, thank you for an incredible 4 years, filled with memories I will cherish for a lifetime. We endured many early morning workouts at the rec center, amazing nights surrounded by magic at Hilton Coliseum, and even later nights spent on Welch Ave. The most valuable lesson, though, you taught me was that it is possible for people from different backgrounds and belief systems to work together towards a common goal. We create an everlasting bond that I'm forever grateful for. Lastly, to the Cyclone Nation, thank you for giving me a home away from home. For being the magic that is Iowa State, I stand here so incredibly proud to be a Cyclone. I accept this honor on behalf of you all. Thank you.
Congratulations. Before we introduce our next inductee, Ashley Moss, we want to show you a clip of Ashley's reaction when she was informed of this honor.
Hey, Ashley, Jamie Pollard.
Hey, how are you?
You know, I'm going to hit you with a dodgeball.
Okay, I'm ready.
No, we set this up because we're recording this, so you know. But,
Okay.
you know, it's not always the athletic director calls. We figured if I called you, you might freak out and go like, what does he want? But the reason I'm calling you today is your peers, your peer fellow Cyclone athletes, have decided that you're going into the Hall of Fame this fall. So,
Awesome.
yeah, really cool.
That is great. That's so exciting. I had the pleasure, of course, of watching Kaylee get inducted this
Yes.
past year. So that was really awesome to see. So I'm so excited.
Christy Johnson Lynch very quickly took the Iowa State volleyball program from the bottom of the Big 12 to a perennial NCAA qualifier. And as we just heard Ashley mention, last year we were honored to induct Hall of Famer Kaylee Manns from those early Christy teams. And tonight, another player who was absolutely at the heart of Iowa State's turnaround. We like to call ourselves Libero U, and that's for good reason. Iowa State's produced 10 Big 12 Liberos of the Year, and it all started with Ashley Moss. Ashley came to Iowa State from Muskego, Wisconsin, so you can only imagine her joy when Iowa State beat number 8 Wisconsin in Madison her freshman year to reach the Sweet 16. The next year it was an Elite 8 with an amazing come-from-behind win over Oregon. Then the winningest team in school history as a junior with a 17-3 record in the Big 12 Conference. Ashley was Iowa State's first team All-American. In fact, she was a 3-time All-American. The numbers, the awards, the team success, it's all amazing. But again, the best tribute is this: did you get to see her play? Because no ball was unreachable, no shot was impossible. The athleticism at the libero position is absolutely incredible to watch, and nobody but did it better than Ashley Moss. Please turn your attention to the video board for the story of Ashley Moss.
I would say initially it was just coming on my visit, you know, having conversation with Christy, coming to Iowa State, meeting the team, seeing the campus. I think that was a big selling point for me. And then just kind of what the coaches had in mind moving forward. Christy was kind of starting initially. She was only there a couple years. So just kind of having trust with her and her program and her coaching staff, it just felt right, and that ultimately made the decision to come here. Each year I felt like we had, a pretty good bond overall with all the teams that were at Iowa State. The coaching staff, the way they coached us, all of that, I felt like we were prepared and ready for every game. And I think that overall helped our success. And I would say my freshman year, the biggest one would probably be when we played Wisconsin at Wisconsin. Being from Wisconsin, that was a pretty big game. And then, of course, going to the Elite Eight. I think that was such a huge time in the program, and never going to the Elite Eight, I think that was just such a cool experience, one I'll definitely never forget. And then I would say beating Nebraska at Nebraska, and then beating Texas at home too. So there's quite a few that really stick out to me. A lot of that was like a first for the program, so you just don't know what you're really getting into, but I'm definitely happy that it happened. I think overall we worked really hard. We grinded, we fought for a lot of those matches, and I think we initially were kind of the underdog of just the Big 12, starting from the bottom and kind of working our way up year after year. So I think just fighting for everything. From my freshman year till my senior year, I feel like even the fan base the games got really crazy. Like there was one specific match where we played Nebraska at home, and I think we had the highest attendance in Hilton for a volleyball game, and that is it's crazy. I mean, Iowa State fans are loyal, and they will come out and support, Iowa State athletics. So I think that was definitely special, and Hilton Magic definitely is a part of volleyball as well. I had definitely some of the best teammates, and people that are still some of my best friends to this day. So I think just the players and the coaches, they were great at volleyball, they were great at all of that, but I think they're just even better people. So happy to have them. It's definitely an interesting position that people don't know too much about. You're wearing a different color jersey, so right then and there you're like, okay, well, what's going on here? But yeah, I should say the big things is just being able to pass and then being able to dig a lot of balls. It's easy as that, really. And just kind of taking over and being a leader of the backcourt is a huge part. So your main job, I would say, is just kind of running that backcourt and making sure that everyone kind of knows what they're doing. It's so exciting. Definitely something I wasn't expecting. I would say I was definitely shocked when I got the Zoom call that I was expecting to be just doing an interview. So that was exciting. I think it's a huge honor, and definitely really excited about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Iowa State Hall of Famer Ashley Moss.
Thank you, guys. So I'd first like to start by thanking Iowa State Letter Winners Club, Iowa State Athletics, and of course Mike Green, Lindsay Long. Thanks for all your hard work in putting everything together. I'm so honored to be a part of this 2022 Hall of Fame class, and congrats to all the inductees tonight. So just to start a little bit, growing up, sports were always a huge part of my life. Starting with soccer, then adding volleyball in a little bit here and there. Volleyball kind of took over my life, I would say, my sophomore year of high school. I decided to start focusing my time on volleyball. When I first started looking at colleges and being recruited, I had very little knowledge about where I wanted to play, or even the recruiting process in general. So had some connections with Joe and Christy, being from the Milwaukee area as well. So after they showed some initial interest in me, came to the campus, loved it, decided that I was going to go ahead and commit to Iowa State. At this time, Christy and her coaching staff were just getting started at Iowa State, so after a few visits and conversations, I decided to take that leap, commit, come to Iowa State, and at that point, I guess the rest was history. So some of the highlights over my 4 years, like you mentioned, just having the opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament all 4 years, playing at Wisconsin, beating Wisconsin at home my freshman year was one I'll never forget. Beating Texas at home, having the crowd storm the court, I think that was the first time I've ever seen anyone storm a court for a volleyball game. Going to Nebraska, winning at Nebraska for the first time, with Christy playing at Nebraska, and then having just a lot of teammates from Nebraska. That was just a cool experience. And then coming back from being down 0-2 to beat Oregon in 5 to advance to the Elite 8, that was probably the one match I'll never forget. And then senior year, we had the flood in Ames, if anyone can remember that one. We had the pleasure of playing at Ames High School all season, so you could say that was a little bit interesting. But it ended up being pretty fun and got to end the season at Hilton. But with all my accomplishments, wouldn't be possible with all my teammates and my coaches. Want to give a big thanks to Christy Johnson and her coaching staff, and then of course all my teammates I've had through all the 4 years. I definitely wouldn't have any of those accomplishments to my name without them. And then, of course, a big thanks to my parents, Anna and John. Thank you for everything that you've done for me. And I wouldn't be in this position without you, so thank you. And then just thanks again to all my family here today for traveling here. And then thanks again to Iowa State letter winners, Iowa State Athletics, everyone involved for making this possible. Iowa State will always hold a special place in my heart, and it's always great to come back here, so thank you.
All right, time to move this microphone up. Congratulations, Ashley. Before we introduce our next inductee, Dean Uthoff, we want to show you a clip of Dean's reaction when he was informed of the honor.
Well, first of all, I am so glad that you took the time to talk with me, because I've always wanted to learn more about your story and everything. But I'm not going to lie to you, I have an ulterior motive also for this call. On the behalf of Iowa State Athletics and Athletics Director Jamie Pollard, I want to let you know that you are now inducted to the Iowa State Athletics Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic, Mike. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I can tell you, I've got goosebumps right now. That is awesome, man. I'm so happy. And I'm not taking the induction in lightly at all. It means the world to me. It really, really does. And I'm goosebumped, and I'm just so grateful that what Iowa State did for me back then, Mike. If I hadn't been able to go there and get my degree, I'd be digging ditches right now. I really would be.
Yeah.
And if not, and I'm teaching school now to underprivileged kids who need support, and I got that all from my days at Ames.
Earlier tonight, we told you the story of Alison Lacey, who went from Australia to Iowa and found a new home. And now the story of Dean Uthoff, who went from Iowa to Australia and found a new home. Dean grew up in Cedar Rapids and came to Iowa State, where he literally was the big man on campus. It's pretty hard to hide when you're 6'11", 250. And the Big Eight found out very quickly about our big man. Dean led the Big Eight in rebounding 4 times in his 4-year career. His sophomore season, he averaged 13 points and 14 rebounds to lead the Cyclones to a second-place finish in the Big Eight at 9-5, and Dean was named a UPI All-American. Dean left Iowa State with 1,233 career rebounds, a school record that still stands, and a Big 8 record for that matter too. The San Antonio Spurs drafted Dean, but he went to the National Basketball League in Australia, that wonderful country that he now calls home. And Dean led that league, the NBL, in rebounding 3 times too. Between his hard-nosed play on the court and his engaging personality, Dean earned the nickname Man Mountain, which is why we're moving the microphone up. Please turn your attention to the video board for the story of Dean Uthoff.
Smartest thing I ever did coming to Ames. I did not do the wrong thing. I did the right thing. So many beautiful people here that I met. You know, the other good thing about here is they cared about you academically as well. They did everything they could to ensure that you kept your mark. It just worked out real well for me. It really worked out well, you know. It was Iowa v. Iowa State all the time, you know, and 100 times over I did the right thing, 100 times over. Honestly, I didn't really have any strengths back then. I just did what I thought I could do to help the team. I was always a terrible free throw shooter. I scored all right because I only shot 1-footers, but you know, rebounders are just, you just have to go and get it. And sometimes it's just a little bit more blue collar work than it is white collar. You never see a guy in headlines, you know, Andrew Parker got 32 rebounds. Well, that's just never gonna happen, you know. So I just went and did what I could do, and I was fortunate that I did that all right, which enabled me to do well at school, but also enabled me to do well, you know, after my education. We didn't win a whole lot of games, but when we did win, it was really something special, you know. And my second year, when we had pretty good side, Andrew was going off, and I was leading the country in rebounding for there for a while, and it was fun. Nothing like winning, and nothing like winning, you know. We did a lot of losing, so it's nothing like winning. I had beautiful teammates, I really did, you know, and they all mean something to me, you know, beautiful teammates. You know, at the time, I was pretty self-centered. I never thought about anybody but myself, to be honest with you. I wanted to make sure that I was going to have a spot on this team and do whatever I have to do to keep it. But then I started to meet guys like, I come in here and Chuck was the best player in the state that year. And I didn't know him from a hill of beans, you know, but I knew he was really good. And my confidence, and I still have problems with this, my self-esteem sometimes isn't where it should be. And I'm thinking, well, what am I doing here with these? They're all really good, and what am I here for? And I sort of thought that way. I still do sometimes now. Anyway, he and I we formed a bond, you know, and even to today, we're best friends, and he always will be my best friend. And guys like Tillo, Ness, I tell you, Tillo, he was funny. We would go on the road and it'd be, you know, boring, so boring on the road, and this guy was so smart. We would start to name the 50 states of America, right? And then he goes, all right, let's name the 50 capitals. He knew everything. Bill Buchanan was one of my roommates. He was from the South. And then, of course, my first roommate was a senior, Steve Bergie, a lovely man. I remember Ricky Birdsong. He was just a lovely man. And all those guys that play were beautiful. I would not say a bad word about any of them. Australia is a great place if you're an athlete, because as long as you do your best, they're happy with that. Chuck went down a year before me, and his mom and dad went to visit him, and they said, you should go. You really like it. I said, okay, I'll go. I didn't even talk about money. I just wanted to come play with Chuck. I didn't care about anything else. And I should have asked about money because they didn't give us any. I should have asked about a car because they didn't give us a car either. They gave me an apartment. It was above one of those 24-hour medical centers that never closes. So that was a sort of, and they gave you a job. That's how you got money. You had a job. And my first job was working in a factory, putting screws in theater seats, you know, zzz, 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 zzz. That was my job. Anyway, everything I've got, I'm very fortunate, you know. I'm very blessed, you know, I'm very blessed. I owe everything to this place. I really do, you know. You look back and you think, oh, you know, it's just uni, no big deal, you know, but it's a big deal, huge deal. You know, what I was able to get here and some of the bonds I have with the boys, you know, might not see them all that often, but when you see them, it's like you hadn't missed them for a while, you know, and this is really nice. And you might not come back here very often, but it's nice to know where you've come from. Like last year, I was watching the NCAA, and Iowa State did so well in the tournament, You know, I think they got down to like the 16 or something like that, and they beat some really good schools going in. And, you know, pretty proud of that. You know, I went to school there. I was really shocked. I thought, what did I ever do that was so good to get into, you know, and it means the world to me. It's hard to explain because you never really assume it's going to happen to you. Like Andrew Parker, yeah, like he deserved to be in there. He deserved it. That guy could play. You know, but I was just a player. You know, I didn't do anything special. I just went out and did what I did, and I hope it was good enough. You know, I'm just really blessed. I'm just so grateful for everything I have, and this is where it all started.
As Jamie Pollard said, how cool is he? He came all the way from Australia to be here tonight. Please welcome Hall of Famer, Dean Uthoff.
Yeah, thank you very much. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for coming along this evening. It's just an awesome experience for me. To Lindsay and particularly Mike, who told me the news about the induction in the Hall of Fame, and you know, I still can't believe it, to be honest with you. I was just a ball player. You know, I come from single mom. You know, my dad was a deadbeat. I had a brother who was about my size, and I had a sister who was about my size, but she went out instead of up. So every night at the dinner table, Mom, dinner, and if you were last to come, you got no food. It was very competitive back then, even then. But you know, my mother was a wonderful woman, and she tried her best, and I don't know how, but we were able to get out of it. And my brother's made something out of his life. And my sister, God love her, she passed away quite a while ago, and I've been able to do something with my life that I'm very proud of. But the thing that I'm most proud of is you know, it was no rainbow for me when I was growing up. It was no rainbow at all. You know, and it was all dark. It was all dark, what I can remember. You know, and when I signed my letter of intent to come to Iowa State, that's when I found my pot of gold, and that's where it all started for me. When I signed my letter, I had so many friends in Cedar Rapids, and the boys are here tonight, and so many folks that have come up from Cedar Rapids, and I don't even know these people. And they said, we just heard you were getting inducted, and we wanted to come and be part of it with you. And I just think that's just fantastic. I'm just an average guy. I'm just an average ball player who played with a hell of a great group of guys. My teammates, all 4 years, I tell you what, I haven't seen these guys. Some of these guys I haven't seen for 40 years. 40 years since I've been back. And we talking like we see each other every day. And it's just fantastic. And Coach Samuels is here, and wonderful man, really looked after me. And the boys that aren't here, Ricky Birdsong, beautiful, beautiful man. And what happened to him is just God ugly. Should never have happened to anybody, let alone one of our teammates. Taken from us way. Bob Fowler, another guy, beautiful man, tried hard, taken from us way too early. And of course, not long ago, other assistant coach, Coach Warford, taken from us after a long battle. Just beautiful people. And I went to Australia because you heard in the Whatsy that, you know, he went down there and go out and play with my mate, you know, and we had fun. And I can remember when my first year I went down, you were allowed three three American imports. We had myself, Chuck, and this other goofball who just don't remember him, that was bad. Anyway, the next year in the league, they said, okay, you can only have 2 American imports this year instead of 3. And our team, we were called the Nuttawattie Inspectors, yes? Anyway, they ran the club out of the back of a garage. It was like a BP petrol station. That's what the professionals, it was what it was like down there. Anyway, the guy comes to me and he goes, look, you know, change the rule, only 2 American imports this year. Will you stay with us if we get rid of Chuck? And I'm like, I really don't care what happens to Chuck as long as I get a game. but as it turned out, Chuck went to another team in Melbourne, so it worked out all right. And then instead of playing together, he started kicking my butt when I played against him. So I don't know if that was a good thing or bad. But you know, I just can't believe my teammates and some of these guys I know still live in the area, But a lot of these guys have come from all over America to come to be with you tonight. And to me, that's fantastic. And I feel very humble being in the same induction class as a man like Joe. Absolutely unbelievable, his story. And for him to be that makes me, it should make us all feel very humble and appreciate what we have for a gentleman who's gone through what he's going through and able to show the courage to get up here and do what he did. So I feel very humble myself. Reggie, great met you today, lovely. Allie, I met Allie today, beautiful, great speech too, by the way. I know you were really panicking about that. You did a great job, even though the MC said Canberra instead of Canberra. And just one last thing before I get off. To the boys from Cedar Rapids, thank you so much for coming along. To everybody, to my teammates, and I know I wasn't supposed to do this, Lindsay, but I'm going to do it anyway. Lefty, Cookie, Scotty, Coach Sam, Foot, Drew, John Ness, Steve Bergeson. Hold on, have I forgot anybody? Johnny Tillo, yeah, John Tillo, yes. I'll tell you a story about John Tillo. In Australia, no, it's not. It's, you know what? In the thing, John, they said John's married to Chris, and I thought, I hope it was the same Chris he was going out with in university in Little because I didn't know. Anyway, I'll tell you a story about. Hey, Ron Falenchek, big Ron coming all the way. Is that everybody, John? Did I get everyone? Yeah, okay. Now I'll tell you a quick story. Tillo, you'll think this is funny. When I in Australia, I teach in Australia, and I do what's called casual teaching, which is like substitute teaching. Yeah. So when the teacher is not there, Joe Bob Gideon. I forgot Joe Bob. Sorry, Joe. Yeah, she told me I got everybody. Come on, you're the guard. You're supposed to be the smart one. Okay. Anyway, what was I saying? When you go and you do a substitute teaching, you expect the full-time teacher to leave you some work so you know what you're supposed to be doing with the kids. A lot of times they won't leave the work, yeah? So what I did, you'll think this is funny, Tillo, I get them to name the 50 states of America. And I tell them, there's 4 A's, 3 C's, 1. How do you know all those, sir? How do you know? Well, I tell them about John Tillo and what we used to do on the road. So not only do they know the 50 states, I know. Well, I tell you what, I reckon more Australian kids would know the 50 states than there are American kids who would know the 50 states, especially when I had them in class. Okay? But you know what, folks? I'm just so humble, and I know I shouldn't do this either, Lindsay, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because there's only one guy to speak after me, right? Is that right? Okay. I just want to make special rec to not just Chuck, but Chuck's mom and dad, and Chuck's brothers, Kathy, the older sister. I moved to this city, to this town, and they took me in like I was one of their own. And they were such beautiful people. I didn't have that kind of love and support at home. But when I came to school and I needed somebody, they were there. And it wasn't just come and live with us. It was no big deal. It was no big deal. It was just like, come and live with us just like you're one of us. And I can tell you, Chuck's mom, Esther, a beautiful woman, every night at dinner time, she'd sit down, she'd can of Schlitz, crack the Schlitz open and thump, 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 thump. Every night, they'd have the milk. The milk was in a glass bottle, and on top of the glass bottle was that big thunk of cream, right? The big thump of cream. So you go to put it on your cereal, and I'd always get the big clunk of cream right in the middle of my cereal. It was unbelievable. And Chuck's mom she was wonderful. She would call a spade a spade. She'd tell me, "What are you doing, Dean? You think you're an idiot, or what are you doing?" And then I don't know if you remember, like in the late 70s, I think it was, they had the thing where we were trying to conserve energy, right? Short showers and stuff like that. Temperature 68 degrees, not 72. They took it literally. I get in the shower and there's a 2-minute egg timer. And you get 2 minutes, you got to get out. I mean, this is all true. If it wasn't true, it wouldn't be real. This is all true. But And then we lost Chuck's dad not too long ago. But I just wanted to say how brave that man had to have been, because he lost his wife a few years ago now, and he went on. He went on, and when they were together, they're inseparable. And I've had 2 wives in my life. I was married to a beautiful Australian woman, and I lost her in 2002. She died on me. She went and died. And she was sick for a long time, and it was a blessing that she went, to be honest with you. Anyway, it was a blessing that she went. She was unwell. Anyway, she taught me how to say two things that I keep now. She taught me how to say I love you, and she taught me how to say I'm sorry. Two things. And then, fortunate for me, a few years, about 5 or 6 years, wasn't it, Bern? I met another beautiful woman, and fortunately she asked, we got married as well. So now I say I've got a wife in heaven, and I have a wife on earth. And all of that stuff might sound trivial to you, but it is big to me. And it all started when I signed my letter of intent to come to Ames, Iowa, and play for Iowa State basketball. And my teammates, I love you guys. I might not see you for another 40 years, but I'm so grateful that you guys come back to be with me and to help me celebrate this night. And I probably have said it. Have I said enough, Lindsay? You bringing out the hook? Are you bringing the hook out? Is that? You're bringing out the hook. All right, folks. To my fellow inductees, congratulations! Fantastic accomplishment. 199. Whoever 200, 201, 202, 203 are going to be, they better be pretty special to be better than us. Thank you very much, and have a great night.
Our final honoree tonight is Bill Weeks. College football took a little while to progress. Many coaches in the 40s and 50s had heard of the forward pass, but they wouldn't actually try it in a game. But Iowa State's Abe Stuber was not afraid to put the ball in the air, and Bill Weeks led the Big 7 conference in passing in 1949 and 1950. He was first team All Big 7 quarterback each of those years. Bill left Iowa State with all the program's passing records, and those records stood for the next 16 years. Bill teamed with Iowa State Hall of Famer Jim Doran to put up great numbers, but he enjoyed team accomplishments as well. In 1949, Bill led the Cyclones to a 5-3-1 record and a third-place finish in the Big 7. Bill played in the East-West Shrine Game and the Hula Bowl as he prepared for an NFL career, and he was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles, but injuries from a severe automobile accident kept him from playing in the NFL. Bill came back to Iowa State, he earned his master's degree, and then he went into coaching, eventually becoming the head coach at New Mexico, where he was highly successful, winning 3 WAC titles. Bill Weeks passed away in 2006, but he is far from forgotten as an inductee into the New Mexico Athletics Hall of Fame, and tonight, the Iowa State Athletics Hall of Fame. Please turn your attention to the video board for the story of Bill Weeks.
Dad got an appointment to Annapolis, and so he was set to go there, and what he was going to do is do like a prep here at Iowa State. And so he came and played football that first year, and it changed his mind. So he decided to stay in Iowa State and met my mom here, and I think that influenced him also. He enjoyed it. He enjoyed the teammates, the players, his experiences, the coaching. I know he enjoyed that. A couple things he talked about, it's just back in the day playing football. He talked about, one of the things that I remember and talking so much about was playing with World War II vets that are coming here playing with the GI Bill. And he would joke around saying, here I am, a small Iowa farm boy playing with these guys that are returning from the war that are men. And so, he would talk about being at the bottom of the dog pile and how, how things would go down there. And, it was always entertaining listening to him talk about that. I remember when he would take us out in the yard and throw footballs to us, send us down the street, is that he would say is, you know, Jim Dorn always said that if you can touch it, you can catch it. So, you know, that was a kick, and I definitely remember that. After he played here, he went into the Marine Corps first off for 2 years during the Korean War, and I look at it and think football probably, I've got football to thank because he ended up playing football for the Marines. I think they looked at, you know, his status as a player, and he ended up playing 2 years, I guess, traveling around to the Marines. And then after that, he came back to Iowa State to get his graduate degree, and he became a graduate assistant here in coaching. And then from here, he was, I guess, recruited to be an assistant coach at the University of New Mexico by Marv Levy. And so he joined Marv down at the University of New Mexico, and I guess was an assistant coach there for 2 years. And then when Marv left, my dad ended up as the head coach at the University of New Mexico. So I'll tell you the one thing that I remember is as a kid, you know, he insisted that we'd be, the boys and gentlemen, and my sisters, ladies. And the one thing, I never heard him swear him around his players or anything like that. And it was the honesty and integrity, and that's what I would hear from his players, is that he's kind of like a father figure to them, and being a Marine officer insisted that that they conduct themselves well, and that. So I think that's the biggest thing that I can remember as a kid, is that in that type of an environment that he wanted to represent the university well, and I think that comes from his Iowa background, without a doubt. He's growing up in Hampton, Iowa, and it's just that mindset. It's very wholesome, and it's very humble too. When we got the call, it just caught us off guard, and I got emotional. It's just so nice knowing that that people still can remember my dad, so many years later. Obviously he was special to us, but then to hear that, that he's being remembered, and this is the highlight, I would say, of his career. And he would tell you that, and that would be even with the championships that he had, and with his Hall of Fame induction in New Mexico, and then at the University of New Mexico. I think this one would stand out to be the top, without a doubt. Both he and my mom were, they really liked Iowa State.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the family of Iowa State Athletics Hall of Famer Bill Weeks.
Hi, I'm Catherine Hall, the second of Bill's 5 children. And with the surname of Weeks, we're all pretty used to being the last people to address anyone. So as a favor to y'all, we each made a pact before we came up here, and we're each going to limit our talk to 10 minutes each. So, obviously, I'm kidding. We just really want to thank you all. This means the world to us. And I assure you, it would mean even more to our father. This is just an amazing honor. We can't thank you enough. Iowa State was so important to both of our parents and their lives. They met each other here. You heard my brother speak, and he pretty well summed it up. They met each other here, and our father's time at Iowa State really changed the trajectory of his life, their lives, and obviously our lives. We can't thank you enough for this. We particularly want to thank Mike and Lindsay. We know what a nightmare it had to be to deal with 5 of us for one inductee. but y'all were great, and we really appreciate it. Thank you. This has just been a tremendous honor, and I just wish our father was here to express it to you himself. Thank you.
How about one more round of applause for this great Hall of Fame class? Just a reminder to please put those completed note cards in the vase on your table. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you all tomorrow, and go Cyclones. One of the great defensive linemen in Iowa State history, Reggie Hayward, was a three-time All-Big 12 defensive end who went on to an outstanding 9-year NFL career. Hayward was the defensive MVP of the 2000 Insight.com Bowl, helping Iowa State win its first ever bowl game and tie a school record in victories with 9. Hayward's 16.5 career sacks ranks 5th in school history. Please honor Hall of Famer Reggie Hayward. Heskett is one of 11 wrestlers in school history to earn All-American honors 4 times and was a 3-time NCAA finalist in his incredible Cyclone career. The 2002 NCAA champ at 165 pounds, Heskett won 3 Big 12 titles and ended his career with the 3rd most wins in school history with 143. Heskett won a silver medal at the 2007 Pan American Games and was a 5-time U.S. national team member and U.S. World Team member in 2007. Please welcome Hall of Famer Joe Heskett. Alison Lacey was one of the most versatile players in Iowa State women's basketball history. A 3-time All-Big 12 recipient and honorable mention All-American, Lacey is the only player in school history to record over 1,500 points, 500 rebounds, and 500 assists in a career. Behind Lacey's leadership, the Cyclones advanced to the Elite 8 of the NCAA Championship in 2009, as the Cyclones tied a school record with 27 wins. Please welcome Hall of Famer Alison Lacey. Ashley Moss was a key contributor in guiding the Iowa State volleyball program to incredible heights during her career. Moss set the standard for Cyclone Liberos, earning Big 12 Libero of the Year and AVCA All-America honors 3 times. Iowa State and the Big 12's career leader in digs, Moss led the Cyclones to 4 NCAA tournaments, advancing to 2 Sweet 16s and 1 Elite 8. Please welcome Hall of Famer Ashley Moss. In the history of Iowa State and Big 8 basketball, nobody secured more rebounds than Dean Uthoff. Iowa State's chairman of the boards led the Big 8 in rebounding 4 times, earning first-team All-Big 8 accolades and honorable mention All-America honors in 1978. Uthoff, who is one of 3 players in Cyclone history to record 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds in a career, was a 4-time All-Star in Australia's National Basketball League while leading the league in rebounding 3 times. Please welcome Hall of Famer Dean Uthoff. Weeks was ISU's most prolific passer, teaming up with All-American Jim Doran to ignite a vertical passing attack that had never been seen before in the annals of Cyclone football. A 2-time first-team All-Big 7 quarterback, Weeks led the Big 7 in passing twice, setting all school passing records upon graduation. The 1950 Iowa State Athlete of the Year was selected in the 1951 NFL Draft and later became the head coach at New Mexico, leading the Lobos to 3 Western Athletic League titles. Please welcome the children of Hall of Famer Bill Weeks.
This has been an exclusive presentation from Learfield.